Hi, my name is Debbie Suey, and this is my Week 7 video journal for EDUU 677 at Brandman University for the Autism Spectrum Disorders program. This week's video journal is about collaboration. And the type of collaboration that I have had is amazing with amazing people. I collaborate on a weekly basis with my OT. She and I are good friends. We've been friends for 15 years plus. And so we know kind of like have our, when we're talking, we know what we're talking about when we say something about a child or what they need. It's kind of like we've grown that way in a professional sense. When we're collaborating, she will say something and then it's like, oh, okay, it clicks. So I don't have issues with understanding what she means. And then if by chance I do have a question or whatever, I'm able to speak with her about it, and she will definitely tell me, or give me an example, show me, or videos, or whatever she needs to do. My speech language pathologist, I collaborate with her on a daily basis. She has my kids grouped out into areas like articulation. She has groups for that, but depends upon what level they're in. She also deals with the social emotional side, and things like that. So I'm dealing with her on a daily basis, talking about things that need to be done, or how things are going in the classroom, or what other extra little things can I do to help her, with her work with my kids. I have a physical therapist who comes in for one of my students. She comes in on a consult basis. So I see her maybe 2 times at the most during the month, always accessible. I'm, able to text her or email her, call her, and she's right there. And the same with me. She can get a hold of me anytime if there's any concerns. For APE, one student in my class is part of APE. Same way with her. She's, very kind, very nice, and we're on the same path. We're on what she's looking for, and what I need to relay to her on things. Psychologist, our school psychologist, I have known her for probably 15 years as well. Very, very good friends. She's, we kind of have a little bit of an understanding on, I'm understanding what she's looking for, and she's, understanding when I relay information to her. It can be like a quick text, and, if she's, seeing one of my students, I can text her really quickly if something popped up and she might need to, talk to that student about. It's that kind of a rapport that we have, where we're there for each other. I have a student who does wear hearing aids, so he has a deaf and hard of hearing teacher who comes in. She comes in probably she comes in pretty much every week, but if not, it'll be, at least 2 to 3 times per month. And she's doing a lot of reinforcing with my student with him mainstreaming in language arts. So she will give extra stuff for him to do dealing with the same unit week that we are on in our Wonders program, and just some extra little stuff to help him along. She is terrific. She actually goes into mainstreaming with him sometimes, just to see whether or not there's anything that his mainstreaming teacher might need. She's very, very, very hands-on, and if we need something, we can 100% come to her and let her know if there's issues or whatnot. We have the district nurse. The district nurse, I have several of my kids have care plans, and therefore the district nurse, has to be at some of our meetings. They're very, very kind. We've gone through, it seems like we've had a little turnaround on our district nurses lately. But they are, always available for us. And if we have questions or anything, we can go through our school nurse. If we need to get something taken care of really quickly. And then, like I said, our district nurse is terrific. The two that I've had this year. Going on to the student. The student is part of collaboration, because we need to know from the student if something is not working right, if we need to maybe tweak something, because I do have first, second, and third graders, but some of my first, second, and third graders have they have certain things that they like. They have, that they're learning what they like for one, but they're some of them are able to actually say, well, you know what, I don't want to do that. And then if we give them an option, then they get to choose on what they would like to do on, some kind of a thing. Like for OT, if they didn't like the one pencil grip, if it just didn't feel right to them, they can let us know, and then we can contact the OT. And or I have like 7 different types of pencil grips in the classroom. Some of them are an elephant, others are a snake. It depends upon what the student needs. So we definitely listen to a student voice for that. Going across my puzzle, we've got RSP. I have a student who was in special ed. Then they went full-time into gen ed for this last school year. And then the Monday, let's see here, March 16th, was supposed to be his first day back in special ed full-time with mainstreaming going out. But we've gone from March 13th to March 16th. March 13th was the Friday. March 16th was the Monday. So we went from him being in my classroom Friday afternoon and then went to distance learning on the Monday, the 16th, where he would have, been in my classroom and then mainstreaming out into gen ed. So to get back to my point, the RSP teacher, she has been working very, very hard with him this year because he was exhibiting some problems, some issues with him being in the gen ed classroom. And she's another person that I have known for a long time. She's been a fount of information for me and strategies and things like that for me to be able to help this student, even though we've from March 16th, we've been distance learning, but she has still been a part of helping me out with him. Um, and then head over to the next puzzle piece, which is special ed. For special ed, that would be me dealing with all of my other, collaboration with all of the people on this board, but also with me collaborating with the primary special ed teacher. She has TK, kindergarten, and some first graders. Then I have the other first graders, second and third grade. And then we have our upper SDC teacher, special ed teacher. So I would be able to collaborate with them on things such as things that that the primary SDC teachers, things that she knows that would work well with one of her students that she had prior. And then also for me, working on expectations for my third graders who are going into fourth grade to the upper SDC teacher. So, and then I also have my plethora of special ed teachers throughout our district who I have worked with over the years, who I call on quite a lot because, there's just little one-offs, ever so often, and you need to go ahead and, talk to them about, about things that arise. Coming down to the bottom puzzle piece of para. The para, I would also include the aides, the campus supervisors, things like that. Because if for my aides that go outside of the classroom, that's something where I don't have as much control over. Like if they're going out for recess or lunch, because I'm not out there with them. So I need to relay, my how I need things to be done, how I need things to be taken care of. If the student does have a problem on the playground and they need to pull the child out for a timeout, or just I need to think kind of a thing. Just to let them know, to give them a heads up on how they need to handle certain situations. A lot of the stuff for the paras that are in my classroom, they have some training, and some of our aides that I have in my classroom have never been part of a classroom aid situation or a para, or even one-on-ones. I have this year, I have one of my instructional aides. She is a one-on-one this year, but prior to that, for many years, she was a resource aide. So she, either went into different classrooms and helped one or two students for a small amount of time, or the kids came into the resource room and she would be able to work with them there. So she doesn't have the experience, or didn't have the experience, of going to recess or lunch, things like that would be in that kind of an environment, even like the programs or assemblies that we attend. A lot of times they, aren't out there when those happen, when they are a resource aid. So my one-on-one aide, she had a huge learning curve that she had to deal with when she started with me at the beginning of this year. And then, same thing with the campus supervisors. Like there's, some that, that like to give a little bit more praise to some students than others. And sometimes you have to, talk to that person to say, you know what, I'm noticing this. Can you, go ahead and spread that towards all of the kids, because I don't want somebody's feelings to get hurt, or this one student has the perception that you've got a favorite, kind of a thing. So just a collaboration with them on how you need for them to be responding to all of the students, and not just a few. Moving over the puzzle pieces to Gen Ed, I collaborate with my general ed teachers. Every week we get together on Wednesday. That's our collegial planning time. But on a daily basis, I'm in contact with them. I have my next door neighbor, and she's a really good friend, who we're always, talking. We're texting. We're oh, I want to do this for next week. Can we join you, and can we do it together? Or it's just things like that. And then when it comes to specific student things, I can go ahead and talk with her and show she's very, very, very just a great person, and wants to make sure that it's the very best for all of the kids. So the collaboration that I've had with the gen ed teachers at my school are really terrific. I'm going to be sad because I'm going to be changing classrooms into a different wing. So I'm not going to have my next door neighbor this coming year, because we're hosting another school. Half their upper grade is coming in. So we have to condense, some of our classrooms. So we've got a little bit of moving around. But I know that the teachers that I'm with, will be with, are awesome, awesome teachers. And I know that they will be terrific towards my kids coming in, and be there for any kind of questions that I have, or if I need to see whether or not I can have a student come in and just see what it's like to be in that kind of a classroom, if that's going to be the right fit for that student, or for doing any kind of mainstreaming, because we do have different teachers that have different personalities and different quirks and stuff like that. And you just try to, make sure that you're choosing the right one for your kids too. And that's one of the really good things that we have with my district is that all of the kids that are coming in for mainstreaming don't get stuck with the same teachers. You can definitely look at just different personalities, and I tell you, one of my kids that mainstreams in second grade, he goes out for science to one teacher, who is also his math teacher, and then he goes to another teacher for social studies. And he just likes being able to have that change up on there for the teachers that he's going to. And my first graders, they have all of them are mainstreaming for social studies and science, technology, and art. And that's just a lot of it is just more for them to be with other peers and have that kind of environment that they're in. But they get to switch off on the teachers, because I have science and technology as one teacher, and social studies and art is a different teacher, and so they get to change it up as well. And then I get a lot of input from the uh, the gen ed teachers on, um, okay, this is going really good for this person. Okay, you know what? This isn't going good for this person, but you know what? I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put them in a different group because that's what's going to be better for them. So it's nice that they're actually thinking about my students and what their needs are. Um, because that when they're this young, first, second, and third grade, you need to be able to uh, get them early wanting to be at school, and and needing to have that connection. um, and that's one really good thing with the teachers that I'm working with, and they just really want to make it a positive experience for the kids. um, to go on to my puzzle piece, for the BCBA, that is another, um, let's see, their district. We have 3 BCBAs in my district, and I have worked with all 3 of them. Um, they're very, very, very good at what they do. They have I have the one who I've known the longest. Um, she is very thorough on letting me know what needs to be done, and I really enjoy that. I remember going to um, her classes that we would do for professional development, and they're just she has a lot of really good information that uh, out there for us. And then the one guy BCBA, he's a little bit more of a joker kind. So if I have a student that's that likes that kind of um, you know of I don't even know what you would call it's just that kind of an interaction, because some of my kids are really standoffish, and then some of them, they can deal with having just a little bit of of a joke, or an easier way for them to relax and not be as as guarded. So he's available for that, and he deals a lot more with the regional autism program, but he does very well with SDC1, which is mind, mild, moderate, and even with Gen Ed. So he's able to go across the different specialties that we have at our school district. And then we have another BCBA who she is newer, and she is now with me as my primary BCBA. But like I said, I can contact the other ones if I need to, if there's something that comes up. But they're all uh, very good. They always are giving us information. They're providing every week or two, since we've been in the distance learning. They put special newsletters out on our Parent Square app for the parents to be able to access, and just really to help all of our kids be able to understand the coronavirus, and why we had to like change everything that we knew, in order for everybody to be safe. But they have all of these resources, in their newsletter. They have a district website that's specific just for the behavior um, challenges that we have, and it's also dealing with the social emotional We have, oh, and I should have put on there too, counselors. We have our counselor corners. They send out as well, and send us information to put on our Google Classrooms dealing with feelings, anxiety, things like that the kids, might be feeling. And so they give a lot of resources for us to have available for our families when there is a need. Um, Going on to the parents portion of my puzzle. The parents are really, really important to be able to collaborate with, to be able to uh, be on the same page and understand what the child needs and what they're looking for, um, uh, for their child. If they need, like with the social emotional, if they need a little bit more help and more support, then we will go ahead. If I don't have something that's readily available for them for that specific thing, then I reach out to my counselors, to my BCBA, to my psychologist, to my admin, all of that, for to help the parents be able to support their kids. We're in a really odd time right now with dealing with the distance learning. Um, and some of my families aren't able to get on as regularly as others on the Google Classroom and be able to um, do the work. Help the kids do their work for the week or for the day. Um, and I've made it 100% clear to my parents that if they're having a problem, if they're having difficulties, if they need help, if they need somebody to talk to, I'm available for them. Um, I have my office hours. We're required to have 1 hour a day during the week that is dedicated strictly to office hours. And so we're supposed to be, returning emails and, messages on Parent Square and stuff like that. And um, I find that I'm um, really out of that 1 hour um, time slot, because this is life that we're in, and I can't not respond to a parent at 11:30 at night that says that their child fell and got stitches in their all their this happened to one of my kids last week. He split his lip and had to go to the emergency room. Mom is a nurse, but she's at a nurse downtown LA, and so they had to go and deal with all of that. And the little guy, he just felt so bad. And his face was swollen. I mean, I have to respond back to them. I have to make sure that I let them know that I got their message, and that I feel really bad that that he was hurting. And it's just parents, to me, to right now, in the time that we're in, we need to be able to support them. We need to be able to be there for them. When they get frustrated, when they get angry for something not happening the way that they wanted to, or that they didn't have their student, their child, finish all of the language arts for that day. And I'm there to help reassure them. Um, and then, I can tell them, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and just take a step back, because what you need to do is you need to go ahead and take care of yourself. Take care of you've got to take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. So it's, kind of sort of in a collaborative way, but not really. It's more in an authoritative way on that side with the parents. As of late, you have to tell them, you know what, it's okay if you skip, doing the vocabulary words today. Go pick it up tomorrow. Or, you know what, go ahead and instead of having your child, do this instead. You don't have to be in front of the computer. They don't need to do that. I've got an alternative way to do high frequency words now, because all I was assigning was things for them to do on the computer through our, curriculum through Wonders. And it's like, you know what? I end up having headaches with being on the computer for so long during the day. I mean, I'm on it almost all of the day because everything is on here. So if I'm feeling, so, stressed out with headaches and everything, I can just imagine what the kids are feeling, and then the parents are having to deal with the kids. So, I'm there in that kind of a manner to say, you know what, you can go ahead and take a step back. That's fine. If you need to take today as a family day, go ahead and take that. Stuff will be there. We don't have any due dates on anything right now. They can go back to 2-3 weeks ago in my Google Classroom. It's all in the past assignments. And I've told them that. Said we're not doing any kind of grading right now. So we need to make sure that, we're letting our parents know that we are there for them. Okay, off of that soapbox, and then go back over to admin. So for me, my principal, who just started with us as a principal, she has been with the district for many years, but she just started with us right after winter break. So technically her first day was January when we started back to school. But prior to that, she was our director of SST for the district. And she just, she needed to get away from all of the, dealing with adults all of the time. She wanted to get back to working with the kids. So there came an opportunity for her to take over as a principal in my school. And I'm absolutely loving it because she has a wealth of information. She was a special ed teacher. She was a resource teacher. And then she, just, went up in the ranks at the district, became director of SST, of student support. And then said, okay, I got to go back. I got to be with the kids because I missed that. This is why I'm here. So with her, collaborating with her is the most awesome thing ever because we're very similar in what our, what we need to get accomplished. We are 100% there for the kids, and we need to make sure that that we are doing right by them. If she even said it. She said, if I will have your back as a teacher, but if this is not taking care of the student, taking care of the child, I will definitely go over your head. I will veto whatever it is that you want because my goal in this is the kid. So, so she made that clear, right off, and that just right there helped us all as teachers at the school understand, where she's coming from. So we're able to collaborate more effectively with her. on everything that uh, everything that she touches. We understand um, where where she's coming from, and and what needs to be done. She's very good at giving suggestions, and she pushes us, and because she knows that we can be better, we can excel ourselves at that. Um, Now, talking about um, what we have collaborated with, everything. I've collaborated with all of these people that are on my screen in one form or another. Um, we, I don't think that I've ever not had a collaboration that was successful to some degree. I wouldn't necessarily say that something um, was a failure, because if we got some kind of something out of it, then that's a plus. That might be that you need to change your thinking on something. You might need to change the way you do something in order to make it more successful. Um, but I think that for collaborating, for me, everything that we've done has been, it has been for the good. The results have come out, have been for the good. I do have my one um, child who we did try to find um, uh, an assistive technology for him. And the one app that we had for him didn't necessarily work for him, but I don't think that would be called a failure. It's just we know that what did not work. So when we are doing like adaptive technology for our students, like with this student, we're not tying ourselves down to one specific app, software, device, or whatever. It's a little bit more general at the get go, because we need to make sure that we're finding the correct one for them. We we need to make sure that we're doing this for the student, and not because I'm not going to say, oh well, we're going to use the Alpha Smart because we have like over 1,000 of them at our district office in the supply room. So to me, that doesn't make sense. I mean, we could use it, we could try it, but I mean, I wouldn't be tied to it just because we have all of them. Some kids it might work with, but other kids it might not. So really have to make sure that what you're using is going to be effective for them. You might, as the um, person that's talking, with the other people to get their feedback, um, you might be able to, say, uh, well, let's use this, or this, or we've got this. We could also do instead. And sometimes it might not necessarily be that, like the high tech end, is actually going to be what we need. It could be that something needs to be more of a low tech, or, you just have to be able to, when you're collaborating with all of these individuals, you have to be able to have an open mind, and be able to try things that, um, other things that might work. because you have to think back to, what did people use, 40 years ago? Well, maybe let's go back to change the kind of pencil that they're using, change this, the thickness of it, or change it to, I've seen before, there's the pencil that's more for somebody that has arthritis, that has it's kind of like a Y shape. So you put your finger over it. So I mean, there's some little things that you can tweak on, when you're collaborating with that. Sometimes you can actually go back to basics. And there's some people that, like my OT, she would say, you know what, let's give it a try. Let's see whether or not that would work, because you just don't know, whether or not that that basic kind of a strategy, or a manipulative, a utensil, a whatever, might be something that's going to work better. So I'm trying to think here. I don't really see anything else that I need to cover because I've already talked a lot. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to me talk about collaboration.